I'm Claus Nussbaum. I'm responsible for the region Austria and Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe is actually all the countries that are eastwards from Austria, so it starts from Baltics down to actually every country except Turkey and Greece, because this is taken over by somebody else, and the territory goes until, you know, Kazakhstan and Russia, etc. So I have a huge territory that I'm managing with many different countries, with many different kind of requirements. I had just a talk with Matthias before about what is Slovenia, where you're looking at, and I think you are very much on the stage where the Western European countries are. You're looking now into the cloud challenges that might come also in this country, which is a little bit different from the rest of Eastern European countries, where they are not that far with their maturity of the markets. What I would like to give you in the next hour is to give you an overview what MobileIron has been working on in the last year, one and a half years, what we were focusing on, where we do see the challenges, and what we do believe is the right answer to those challenges. So I will talk about this zero trust approach, and then Leszek will also do then a live demo, because it's not only talking, it's also showing what we can do and how does it work. I have also a very short video on the end of my presentation. It's about like a 3.5 minutes video, where we also show how this zero password, zero trust works from our perspective. All right, if there are any questions, just raise a hand. I want to do it as interactive as possible. So let me try to start with the agenda. So first, very few company and market overview, the zero trust approach. Is anybody aware of this zero trust, this kind of buzzword? Is it also kind of, can you raise your hand? Have everybody heard this zero trust before? Okay, good. Right, then the third, and for us was a very high volume on, say, development power we put in, was the zero trust and zero password approach. And then finally the key takeaways. So just for the ones who is MobileIron, because we have like a couple of new people here. Well, we are a proven mobile leader. We have more than 19,000 customers. We have more than 11 million devices under management. So US customers are belonging to those 11 million devices that we have under management. We have more than 90 patents. We have, well, the renewal rate is also for us a very good parameter to see how our products are received by the market, because if a customer renews his licenses, that's for us a sign that he is at least satisfied with what we're offering. The reason why it's more than 100% is because we take this on an annual rate, and if you renew for like a multi-year contract, then obviously this is higher than 100%. That's why you see more than 100%. So it seems that it's very well received in the market. What we're also very proud of is these ecosystem partners. I think we deliver a very good product that you can use, but we are not experts on all the different kind of fields that you can get with a mobile application or mobile device. So there is things like, okay, I want to have a very specific data synchronization tool. I mean, we have tools that we think will cover like 80-90% of the use cases a normal enterprise have. But there are many specific things that you might want to have. Like I'm just thinking about, we have a lot of Ministry of Defense as customers, and they have special requirements in terms of security, like securing and encrypting voice calls or something like that. This is what we are not doing. But we have more than 380 partners that work with us, that have implemented our APIs into their products. And these are the guys, when we come to like special efforts or special requirements, we say, okay, well, we have the fundament in our product that can cover these kind of use cases, but to specifically solve those use cases, we have a partner that we work with. Well, we are more than 9 years, or we are 9 years in the Gartner Leader Quadrant, and we have a lot of recognition of many of those kind of leading institutions, where they also mention that MobileIron is a product that is good to work with. The reason why we are that successful is because we have the right partners. It's very important for us because we are based in the Silicon Valley. We have a small team that we are in the different European regions. So our approach is work with the partner that knows our product. So we're backing up our partner, but your first touch is always the partner that we are working with. And we're very happy to have that strong partnerships here with NIL that can support you all with your different kind of requirements that you might have. All right. So that's what we were thinking in the last year was that, okay, what we see is that there is approximately like 80 phone looks per day where you just check something. That's most probably more what my age people doing. If the younger the people get, the more looks they will have per day. I mean, if you have kids at home, you will know that they somehow seem like screwed to their device because they cannot give it away. Even if you have lunch or dinner, whatever, they always look into this kind of stuff. So it's getting more and more and more as we all know it. What we also see is that web traffic from phones is only more than half. So it's more than you do from your laptops or desktops, whatever. So we have 52 already on the phones. Everybody knows checking stuff on the internet on his mobile device. And we have more than 3 times more smartphones than we have PCs. So we see that the market is moving into this mobile direction. What does that mean? That means that also companies want to use those kind of mobile fleet in their environments and they mobilizing their processes. So this is what we see in the markets at the moment, that many customers are moving into this what we call process mobilization. So they try what are my processes and how can I make them more efficient, faster, etc., etc. And I would say like in 80% of those kind of customers that looking into do the digitization, they have or they think to have a mobilization story. So they have to have a kind of mobilization in mind. That means more and more of this kind of business data, more and more of the processes are now being touched by a mobile device. And you can now define what is a mobile device. It's actually, well, also this is a mobile device, right? It's a Mac OS. It also has an operating system that we are working with. It can be an Android phone, it can be an iOS phone, an iPhone, it can be a Windows 10 device. It doesn't actually matter. That's what we now define as UEM, Unified Endpoint Management. We started with MDM and then we had EMM and now we have UEM. And most probably in 2 years we have another three-letter abbreviation because Gartner says we have to invent something new. So that's the business we are in, right? Being in this market, what we have seen also is that many business applications. So the second most popular app category is business already. It's not like games, etc. It's business already, and this is without email. So we're not talking about email here. We talk really about business applications. It can be just like, okay, you use your Salesforce or your SharePoint server, whatever, and then you need a client to do that, or SAP or whatever you're using. That's more and more this category is interesting for many customers. We have also many users like on Slack, more than 7 million. And what also will be an additional driver in the market is 5G. I'm not sure, maybe next year, most probably you will also have 5G, or maybe you already have the first test. I think A1, because I'm from Austria, so I know A1 is pushing for the 5G network now already in Austria, and that will bring us even more throughput. Most probably it will be a better throughput than you have in your local Wi-Fi. So more and more of your employees will say, well, why should I hook up to the Wi-Fi in the company? It's much more slower than what I can get on my mobile phone as well, and I just use it as a hotspot. So these kind of devices will be also the devices where you do most probably all applications run it, because you just say, I want to have the experience of being faster than on the crumpy internet that I have via the Wi-Fi. So that would also be another driver in this business. So, oh, sorry, I was going in the wrong direction. Now, what does this zero trust approach say? Zero trust means we have to be aware that more and more of the devices are now out in the field. So it's no more that you have the classical way how, even me, how we did that, and I'm in mobility since more than, easily for like 15 years. But how we always did our network was, okay, we have our firewall, we have our DMZ, we have here the firewall in front, and then we have a VPN, and then we have a laptop in the back, and this is how we connect to our services. That was the classical approach we had in the last, 25 years. But now we have a different approach because people are now accessing our network with these mobile devices, and the mobile devices can come from anywhere. We do not know how they are hooked up. They can connect via a public Wi-Fi. You're sitting at the Starbucks, at the McDonald's, whatever. Say, okay, let me check quickly my emails. You hook up via the open Wi-Fi, and then you connect to your resources in the company. And having said that, that means you are in an environment that you cannot trust. Do you trust and this is what actually Leszek will show you afterwards when we talk about our mobile threat defense product. Do you trust the Wi-Fi that you are hooked on? Maybe some do, but maybe most probably it would be better if you do not. So that's the environment that we are in and that we have to focus on, because we never know how the device or how the person comes into our network and want to access in the sense of your business data. So what Zero Trust says is, okay, you cannot trust anyone. Always verify before you let a person in accessing your business data. This is what the Zero Trust approach says. And I think this is what we will all face, or maybe already facing, and more clouds product coming into the face. Has any one of you been contacted by Microsoft with their Office 365 product? Can you give me a hand? Okay. We see a lot of like these movements, and Microsoft is one of the drivers here because everybody wants to move into the cloud. That's another example. Not even your own resources are on your own site anymore. It's somewhere in the cloud. So how do I make sure that now my data is in the cloud, the device is somewhere, and how do I now make sure that this data, that are my data, that are hosted somewhere and a device is somewhere, how do I make sure that this is secure? And this is what we have been thinking in the last one and a half years. How can we make this in a secure manner? That was what we have been working on. Obviously, our driver is the US market. It's our home market, even though that we do like the same business in Europe that we do in US, which is quite rare for a US company. But the challenges were coming from there because now in the US, we do like 70% of our business in the cloud, 30% of our business in on-prem. In Eastern Europe, it's the other way around. It's like 95% on-prem, 5% cloud. But even in Germany, where we have many big customers, all the automotive vendors, except the one with the three letters, are our customers. And if you would have asked those guys like 2 years ago, well, what do you think about going into the cloud? They would say, okay, here's the door. See you next time, right? Don't come back again. It was a no-go. But now they also say, oh, well, we have to think about it because there is maybe the CFO telling, okay, we have to save money. We have to save money for the resources, et cetera, et cetera. We have to, or you as the whatever IT security person, you have to find a solution how we can go into the cloud because it will save us a lot of money. And we have a lot of these big customers working with big like consultancy companies that tell them that. So the thing is, we will have a move into the cloud. It will take maybe in some countries longer than in others, but I was really surprised seeing Germany as a very security focused country also now thinking for these kind of organizations, okay, we have understood we have to move into the cloud sooner or later. And now better we think about now how we can do that in the future instead of no, we're not going to have it. And then all of a sudden everybody tells you, no, but now you have to, right? And then you're not prepared. So those kind of companies are preparing at the moment. We have also the first implementation. And it's a kind of strategy that is understood that it has to be maybe not now, but maybe in 1 year, maybe in 2 years, but they start to get prepared now. So what does it mean now to have this zero trust approach? So we see like 4 different stages in that kind of approach. The first thing is what we have to think about as MobileIron is, okay, we have to provision, we have to have the possibility to provision any type of device with like as less user interaction as possible. So we talk about, is zero touch something that you have heard of from Android? Has anybody heard about zero touch? Or DEP from iOS, Device Enrollment Program? So the idea is, okay, I get my new phone, whatever it is an iPhone or it is an Android phone. You as an employee get the box with a brand new device. Everything is originally packed. Yeah? You get it out of the box, you hook up to your Wi-Fi, and all of a sudden everything is done, immediately without doing, you maybe have to type in your username, yeah? Not your password, because I will show you afterwards. You type in your username, and then all of a sudden it starts to configure and say, okay, I have to download this and that application, I have to do this and that, and you just do like, okay, because then maybe you have to finally confirm as a user, but that's it. There is nothing you have to call the IT organization or whatever. That's the idea of like zero sign-on, or zero touch from Android, or in iOS it's called like DEP, Device Enrollment Program. And that is the idea. What we have to do is we have to guarantee that bringing in your devices into your mobile, into your enterprise environment has to be as easy as possible. That's our aim here. And we have already the kind of vendors, or in this case it's like Apple or Android, that do support it already. So we have to take care that we support it on our side as well. So that's all the kind of provisioning part. We have to take care that apps, profiles, policies are deployed to the device automatically. With less, I wouldn't say it's like you don't have to do anything, because you still have to type in your username, obviously, but all the rest should be automatically. Okay, now say you have got your brand new device, you have it, and please also be aware, what is the difference between this here and this here? What we call a laptop. From the perspective of security, there is actually no difference. Even from the perspective of performance. So think about a brand new iPhone or a brand new take whatever device you want. Look at the specifications. That's a specification of maybe a laptop like 1.5 or 2 years ago. So in terms of performance, in terms of like having data on the device, it's the same. So as I assume that none of you have any unmanaged PCs in your network, the approach here is the same. You should not have any mobile device in your network that is not somehow managed. Yeah, because otherwise this is a big hole in your security, call it a firewall or security strategy at all. So as soon as we have the device managed, yeah, we have now the data on the device, the applications that we want, etc., etc. Okay, what is the next thing? The next thing is now we want to give this device access to our business data, because this is the only way how a person can work. And if you go more into this kind of business or process mobilization, then the data have to be on this device. So what I have to take care of is that this access from this device now to my data is granted in a way that you say, okay, is this device allowed to grant my applications, my data, or not? And it's not only the user, it is the device, but it's also the application, because maybe you say, I have this dedicated application that I want my users to use to access my SharePoint, my back office data, but you should not use this other application because maybe this other application is somehow malicious, or you downloaded it from wherever, yeah? So we have to take care about those three things. And additionally to that, because this is what we had already with EMM, yeah? This is what we always took care about. But now we also take care about because remember, we are in a zero trust environment. So now we also have to take care that the means that you take to access your data are somehow secured. So we have to take care, is the network that you're connecting with to your environment, is that trusted? Can we somehow make sure that this kind of in-between layer that you have, that is between the device and your data, is secured? And this is what the zero trust approach means, and we have to take care about that. And this is what we will also show you afterwards. All right. As soon as we have the data, then we also have to obviously take care. So we have now granted the access to the data. Now what we have to take care is when we now have access to the data, we want to transfer this data to the device. So we have to take care that this transfer of the data is encrypted, is secure, and then it's also stored on the device in a secure way. That's why we have this kind of container on your mobile device. This is why we're working very closely with Google. Android for Enterprise, is that something you have heard about? Yeah? Okay, I see some nods. You actually should have heard about it, because if you have any Android devices in your network, it can happen that with Android 10 they're not going to work anymore as you expected them to work. Yeah? So if there are any questions, you can also ask us afterwards, but I think it's also important to understand Android for Enterprise is the new approach from Google to secure device. It's like really like having a work environment and having a private environment, and this separation is done, and I will show you afterwards a little bit of that. So that's also important for you to understand. We also have to be in touch very closely with those vendors like Google and Apple to be on the latest stage with their technologies. All right, so we have the device, we have granted access to our data, we are sure that the transfer of this data to the mobile device is all secured, and then obviously what we have to take care is that those security policies that you have thought about are also enforced, because it doesn't help you if you say, you're not allowed to do this, but you have no means to prevent the user from doing that, because, I have a friend here in the IT, he tells me this and that password, or this and that address to be connected to. So, well, I find my way through it. This is what we call the shadow IT, right? So we also have to take care that when we set a rule, that this rule is also enforced, because otherwise it will not help us. It will be a regulatory thing that is not working because nobody takes care about it. All right, so obviously we have the different products here that can do that. What we see, or what the challenges are, so it's like where we are, or where are you, because you can ask this question to yourself. Where are you on this zero trust journey? And I think one of the big challenges is this here. Adding cloud services, because this is coming to our market. And I'm not only talking about Office 365. This is what we see a big driver in the market, because many people are using Office applications like Word, Excel, etc., etc. And because that's a pure cloud service. There is no way to get Office 365 on-prem. Yeah, you have to, you can still do this hybrid approach with Exchange, etc., etc. But if you want to work with Office 365 or Microsoft 365, as they will call it in the future, that's in the cloud. That's a pure cloud service. And more vendors, also Salesforce, etc., etc., are just pure cloud services. So we as a company, we have like 900 people. We're already using like, I think, 50 different kind of cloud services. And it's just like simple things like our travel expenses. Yeah, we do that with Concur, we use Salesforce. So there's a lot of things we are using that you even don't recognize. Say, oh, that's a cloud service. Yeah, it's true. Because you just access it in your daily work and you don't even think about where is it coming from. You just connect to a service. Is it hosted or not? And actually, you don't have to take care of it. It doesn't matter. For us, it doesn't matter because it's secure. All right. So, giving that, now this kind of zero trust environment. So what we're thinking, okay, we have to think about a possibility to bring the customers, even though the data might be cloud-based, the devices are somewhere, the environment in between is not trusted. So and we were thinking, what is the biggest challenge that every customer has? Think about that. And the result was that everybody has a pain with the password. Because, especially when we are somehow used to that on the PC. We maybe have our password safe, and then you have to go into the password save, you copy the password, you put it into whatever service you're looking, copy paste it, then you say, okay, I'm in the service, okay, everything is fine. But if you do it on the mobile, and maybe you have to type in a whatever 10-digit or 10-letter password with special signs, you just break your fingers because if you can't do it. So it's really a pain if you have to work with passwords. And let's be honest, I think, is there anyone in the room here who does not need a password to hook up you to whatever service? Right. So you? Okay. You're the only one. Because
well, to some services.
All right. Okay. But I'm talking about globally your services. If you are kind of advanced customers, you might use certification-based approach, which is very wise. Yeah. So then you have at least certificates, which is much better and much faster than with passwords. With passwords, you have the pain that passwords are actually the reason, and again, we talk about the zero trust approach. This is the first thing that a hacker wants to get. It's your password. And there are still like guys, and I'm talking about serious persons. We had one of our investors, in MobileIron, we have a couple of investors that are invested in our company. And this is also the story that our CEO tells. And he had a meeting once with one of our investors. He was a bright senior guy, investing millions of dollars in different kind of companies. And they were talking about this password thing, and he said, you know what I do? I have here on the back of my phone, I have here a small sticker, and there I have my password. And this is the thing, and this was really a senior person, where I say, come on, how can you do that? How can you have your password on a sticker? Yeah, because I do not remember it. And that's the thing, we all use those kind of passwords, and the passwords are always a pain. You ask like every 3 months, come on, define a new password. Come on, what should I do now with the new password? You have varieties of my password, and I just maybe change the exclamation mark with the question mark or whatever. That's what we all do, right? But it's a pain, and this is the Mobile Security Index where we have this from. So 85% of the people said that there is a risk with the password. And that's also interesting. 32 of them, because we were talking about this kind of, okay, we have to be faster, we have to mobilize our business, etc., etc. They said, okay, to be able to do that, they were sacrificing the mobile security to improve the expediency of the business performance, because they said, okay, well, I didn't have time to look at the security, we just needed to do that now, and the business was driving us. So, okay, let's put the security aside and let's just do it. And this happens very often, but this opens a big, big hole into your network. So also see, that's the average lost cost of data breach is $3.6 million. And I just had because as I'm responsible for Eastern Europe, I'm not sure if you heard about the Bulgarian thing. There was a big data breach in Bulgaria, which has now been fined. Because the thing is, is it GDPR called here as well? Yes. Yeah, okay, because there are some different names in different countries. GDPR is a regulatory, right? And everybody says, okay, there's big fines, but then everybody says, have you ever seen somebody being fined? And they were really fined. They got a big fine, yeah. And that was I think it was a public company. It was yesterday or the day before released. So I think regulatory is starting now also to really fine the companies, because they say, okay, we had a kind of, trusted period or coming down period in the very beginning because people had to get adapted to that, etc., etc. But I think the time has come that now they really start to look into that. And the thing is, the market is spending $120 billion on IT security, right? But at the same time, 2/3 of those companies that are spending $120 billion are breached. And in many, many cases, it's a password breach that has been done. Yeah? So that's the top cause of the data breach, is stealing a password. You do that with social engineering, whatever then they find out what is your mother maiden's name and all this kind of stuff that you use, to make up your password and, name of your pet. There are people posting like every day on Facebook, sitting with my dog or walking with my dog, whatever, Charlie or whatever his name is. And I have this dog since 2013, so maybe your password is Charlie 2013 or something like that. So these guys are professional guys. They try, we're not talking about, the kiddie, the script kiddies. We talk about professional organizations. I've seen the list of people are here. You are all like entrusted in very well-known companies. And the last thing you want is that somebody breaches your data, right? So the thing is, it's not secure, it's not user-friendly, and it's even not intelligent. So getting away from this password would bring up your security to a different level. All right, so this is what we have been thinking about. And 86% of the customers we were talking about said, okay, we would love to go away from the password. We would, if there's any chance, yes, please let us know. We would like to do that because it's a pain in the back in the end of the day. All right, and that's why we came up with this zero sign-on experience. So what was our idea? So our idea was, okay, is there anyone in the room here who does not have a smartphone? Okay. Is there anyone in the room here who does not have his smartphone like a meter away? You see, you have it in your pocket, you have it in your handbag, you have it somewhere around, or you have it in front of your table, wherever you have it. So it's ever present. Yeah, we all using it. Then you have biometrics using it. You have your Face ID, whatever you have, your fingerprints. I don't know, maybe not the password anymore, right? Because you hate like typing it in. So you have biometrics, and well, now we can discuss, is biometrics 100% secure? Most probably not, but it's still much better than a password. I think we all agree on that. So the thing is, we have a tool that we have, and we all agree that we have an amazing consumer experience with that, because it's just, if we could use this as the identity, and you sometimes maybe already using this. So if I'm traveling a lot, and if I fly, I always have my ticket on the phone, and I just go over the barcode scanner. This is how I do it. I don't have to print it out. I don't have to type in some whatever. Just go through, or you can even do it with the watch, whatever, right? So this is the user experience is beautiful. Okay, let's now think about just a normal worker person, about her day and what she's experiencing. So in the morning, she receives, say, she's a new company, new employee in the company. She receives, say, her laptop, yeah, or her new iPad, right? Now, what she wants is, okay, she gets a new tablet, she turns it on, and all of a sudden, she got all the applications deployed to the device without doing anything. Yeah, she just have, okay, I know, maybe I got the letter from my company, and maybe I'm not at the company, maybe I'm just starting because I'm working from home or in another office where there is no IT support, whatever. And maybe I just got a brief, whatever, letter or email where it says, okay, your username is blah, blah, right? That's the only thing I know. I just go here, I take the device, I type in my username, and all of a sudden, all the things I need for my work are automatically brought to the device. Yeah? Most probably, I will use for instance, Outlook app to access my emails, and all this was happening without using a single password. And I will show you the video afterwards how that works. I mean, wouldn't that be cool? I mean, if you're working in the IT department, they will just say, Massa, please, you are my king, because the user experience is perfect, right? It is just like, okay, you have never experienced that with your IT guys. And let's be honest, most of the time the users say, okay, I mean, those guys from the IT department, they always, they just prevent me from working. They're not supporting me, they're preventing me. And in this case, they will say, wow, our IT department is really cool. Okay, well, we have some products that can do that, but this is possible. So the next thing is, okay, I want to do my travel expenses. So I just use my provisioned app that I already have on my device. I type in, maybe I make photos from my hotel expenses or my bus or whatever you have. You go into the, in this case, in our case, it's for instance Concur, our expense management. You go in, you type in your travel expenses, that's it. You don't have to type the password in. Wow, still perfect, right? We can do that. Next thing is, you're working with Salesforce. And sometimes, say you do that on an iPad, and you are, for instance, you're flying a lot, or you're in the train where you have a bad connection. I'm not sure how it is in Slovenia, but in Austria, sometimes, we're in the Alps, and then you go with the train, and you don't have a good Wi-Fi connection, or you need to have even in Germany, Austria is kind of good, but in Germany, it's awful, right? If you go there with the train, the internet connectivity is very, very bad. Or you have a train that goes like 300 kilometers per hour, you will have the same problem. Or you're in the plane. So now you think, okay, I want to use my Salesforce, but while I'm on the go, I would like to have an application that takes my data and stores it on site, on the device. Yeah? But I think all of you know the container technology. Yeah? Because if you use MobileIron, then most probably all of you will use the container. So that means all the data that you have, the business data, is kept secure in a separate container on the device. Right? And the thing is, now you use an application where you sort of, oh yeah, you can do offline storage of your data. That means even though that you're in the plane or in the train, you can work on your CRM data, which is actually a smart idea. But maybe the security people do not want you to do that because it stores data, because this application is just doing that. This application sets up his own database out of your container, because this is how this application works, right? So now she said, okay, I've seen this kind of whatever Pulsar app, I can use that, I want to download that. But what happens here is that when she she can download the application, but now she maybe has her username, now she wants to access her user data in the back office, her Salesforce data, she will get a notification, you're not allowed to use this application to access your business data because it's just stored outside of the container, which means it is not secured. We were talking about like, okay, data has to be secure on the device and on the go, so we forbid that, right? So that's something what we can do. It's an application, yeah? An application you do not want the user to use. We can also do that. Okay, after the good meeting, this person is at home. She decides to update Salesforce on a personal device, and she has her own device. Maybe she has an iPad got from the company, but she still has her own like PC, or she left the iPad in the office, whatever. Just I have to work on this kind of Salesforce again, but I have only my laptop, and I have a browser, obviously. So wouldn't it be good if I can just log in with my untrusted device, so to say, unmanaged device, but I just want to hook up some data while I have a browser session to my back office. Obviously, we can say, well, you can do that, but we want to make secure that this session is secured. So what we can do is, even you open up a session on your laptop, on your browser, and you want to access this site where business data is hosted, say your Salesforce or Concur, whatever it is, you will have a pop-up on the browser saying, okay, please authenticate this session. And you just use your mobile device, because this is what you always have, this is your identity. You got a barcode scan, you go there with a mobile device, you make a picture of the barcode scan, and the mobile device talks to the services in the background and makes your browser session able to access your data. After the browser session is closed, all the data is gone. Right? This is what we can also do. So based on like QR code, and I think this is in the video, I can also show it on my device because we are using that internally as well. And that's very cool. Last but not least, there is also a kind of life after the work. Say after 6 p.m., you want to do some, get a bit of relief of work, you want to play Angry Birds, for instance. You say, okay, I've heard from my kids, there's this Angry Bird app. Most probably they're using another app anyways nowadays. This is like 5 years ago they were playing Angry Birds. But say we're old-fashioned, we still want to play Angry Birds. You want to download the Angry Birds app, and you say, okay, go with your phone, Angry Birds, okay, I take this one. And then, but this is, there's a lot of like fake versions of different kind of games out there, which have some malicious apps in the back, which are screwing your device up. But you, as a normal user, have no idea which one is like a malicious app or not. So you just want to download it and work with it. Here, what you will get is, and this is what we'll also show you live afterwards, is you want to install, and I'm not sure if we're showing this exactly, but it will give you the idea. You want to download the app, and the device tells you, this is a malicious app, you're not allowed to use it. Or if you can even take some further steps in saying, if you have this malicious app on your device, I close down all the business applications, so you cannot access your business data anymore. As soon as you have removed the app, everything is okay, all the business applications are coming back again, and everything is in order again. So you can then download the right Angry Bird application, but not the fake one. And I think that is just a normal day in the life of any kind of employee, I guess. And there's many use cases in that we can cover with this kind of zero trust approach with our solutions. And this is what we have been working on in the last 1.5 years, I would say, to make all these kind of use cases happening. All right. Okay, we obviously have, I do not want to bore you with this, but we have all the product names for this. Most of you are using our UEM, our core and Centric applications. That's what we call now MobileIron UEM. Then we have this added security layer on the device. That means we have a possible, and the beauty of it is, if you are already a MobileIron user, and that's a big difference, and you want to use this application, you can just use it while you go. There is no kind of interaction with the user. The biggest challenge is, and there are different kind of applications that you can use for what we call mobile threat defense. You can roll out an application from whatever vendor, also from our partners, and say, I want to use this application. So you can roll it out, and then the user have to say, okay, it's fine that I'm using. You have to activate the application. That's what you have to do with any application. That is how all the operating systems work. You have to say, okay, activate it. We had a customer that had like 30,000 devices, and he said, okay, we need to have this kind of on-device security as well. And it's completely different than what you have maybe in mind of this typical antivirus stuff. It's much more advanced. I mean, and Leszek will show you that. But just think about that. So you want to use this application on the device, and you have to guarantee that you have to activate it. So they had 30,000 devices, and the IT security said, oh no, okay, now we have bought the product. We will roll out the product with our UEM product. Everybody of these 30,000 persons have now this application on his device. And that's good, because we have done our job. Security has done the job. We have selected the product. We have rolled it out. Good. But what they have not thought about was that from the 30,000 people that got this application, only 10,000 people have activated it. The rest said, I don't know what this is now. I don't want to activate it. I do it later, whatever. They didn't just do it. So 1/3 only was then protected. So from IT security perspective, you have spent a lot of money for a product that actually was then not used by the users. If you do that with MobileIron Threat Defense product, there's nothing you have to do. I mean, you have to pay us money, which is good for us and good for NIL. But you don't have, the customer doesn't have to do anything. You just say, okay, I want to have mobile threat defense. You activate it because it is built into our client, and the client is already trusted to your device, and that's the reason why I do not have to activate anything. So if you say, I want to have this security, it's additional security layer for all my users, just go to NIL, say, okay, I want to have MTD, and that's it. There is nothing you have to do from the user perspective or user interaction. I think that's the biggest advantage, apart from all the other stuff that Leszek will show you afterwards. But I think that's a kind of key idea to use this. And then obviously we have this additional authentication and access layer, what I mentioned before. So what we have is between your cloud services that you have from different kind of vendors, it doesn't actually matter, is it from Microsoft or from Concur or from Salesforce or whoever that is, as long as they have SAML 2.0 authentication, you can use this. So that means our access, what we call access product, is in between and grants you the access to all these services. That's how we do it. So we can guarantee that only those applications that you have certified are able to access those kind of cloud services that you want. All right. Good. I mean, I think I told you this already. What are the key takeaways? So we do believe that we are all, or we will be, or we are already in this kind of zero trust world. You cannot trust the environment anymore. We are not in this kind of perimeter world we have been with clear borders. Here is my firewall, here's my DMC, here's my internal network, and here's the dirty outside, right? Now the dirty outside is everywhere and we are within that, and now we have to try to get a security for those kind of people that are in this kind of not trusted environment to get access to our data. So this is what we did, and better security, so that is a kind of better security already, and even better is if you do not have to use a password anymore. It's normally what happens when you are, who is actually here from IT security? Is anybody here? Okay. Normally, if you say, okay, I have to improve or increase my security, it is always that usability goes down. Yeah? You tell your users, why do I have to do that? Why do I do that? Yeah, because it's more secure, we have to do it. Ah, come on, but it prevents me from my work, etc., etc. This is actually the other way around. You get more security by actually even increasing the usability because the user doesn't have to use a password anymore. So that's, I think, also from the perspective of security, it's, oh, wow, that's cool. All right. Well, we call it also frictionless user experience because I really do believe that this is very, very and I see it, I see it by myself because we're using it internally. It's really brilliant. You don't have to type any password. I mean, there are still some services that even we have to use with password, but it's just a matter of implementing it in our own environment. All right. Are there any questions? Because then I would like to show you a quick video. It takes like 3.5 minutes to give you to show you this. I mean, it's not live, but I hope you will trust that this video is not a fake. It is really working. We're actually using it internally as well, and we have customers that are already using it. Let me see if I can run my video, or if I have to start it extra. Let me see if that works. All right, seems to work. So there is no audio, just it's not, because there is, I will explain it. All right, so here we have, let me see, okay, let's do, oh no, it's, okay. Because I want to stop it in between that I can explain something. Let me see if that is going to work. All right. Okay, here I have, it doesn't actually matter, this is in this case it's an Android device. It doesn't actually matter if it is Android or iOS, it's the same. So first is, you see here, this is a brand new device. You got this device out of the box. It has just the normal Android applications on it, like Chrome and the Google Play Store, camera, etc. There is nothing special on this with this device. It just has these normal applications. So what you do is, first you do this, I told you, this device enrollment and configuration. The only thing what you have to do, obviously, you have to get our client. That's what everybody needs. We need a client to have on board. So he was typing in just the username, downloading the application. You see here he's now typing in his username. He just presses the next button. He's hooked up to a network. He's now asked for the MobileIron name. You see there is no password. He's downloading the what we call the work profile from Google. This is giving you a separation of business and private data. It's configuring your work account. So that means all this has already been set in the policies on your core server. The device now talks to the core server. It has some applications. You see also here, threat defense protected. We have already in this kind of setup, we already have threat defense as a product bought by the customer. So it's already protected. It's already on the device without any user interaction. Now you have to register. You use your whatever biometrics you have. Touching the sensor, just activating the sensor that you have. They're now activating your biometrics. You have to do that obviously only the first time. This is what everybody does. Or the face recognition. So now you have your fingerprint added. Now what does it? It's the client is installed. It talks to the server. Now the application rollout starts. You see here that we already have the work profile. We install all the applications in the work profile. We have some applications that we have said this is needed for the customer. This is what IT security already said. We have a barcode scanner. We have our tunnel application. You see all these applications are being installed automatically. Your Salesforce application. We are starting now the tunnel automatically. That just means this VPN connection to your back office. Here you see we also have, for instance, Office 365 products like Word was here. Now we have Salesforce as an application. You see there was no password. You're getting in with your name. You immediately install the application. You have access to Salesforce. Now we're downloading the Microsoft Outlook app because this is the app we want to use, Office 365. We are in a cloud environment. He already knows that we have our work account. You see, no password. We are already configuring Outlook, and you see you have immediately access to your inbox. You have all your emails already in the inbox. You didn't do anything. Yeah? It's just authentication. And this is the, let me maybe stop this here, because I think that's important. Let me go back here a little bit to let you understand what this is. Let me go here, right. So here on the right side, this was what I explained before. So you have now, this is the example that I brought, okay, you're at home now, you have your laptop. Your laptop is actually not a managed device because it's just your private laptop, but you want to log into in this case, Salesforce session to your office. You want to get this business data on your laptop just for this browser session because you want to type in you had some meetings with customer, you want to type in the visit reports. Now, as this device is not managed, well, we need an additional multi-factor authentication layer in between to grant this browser session access to your data. What it does is you type in the address of in the browser, the URL of the service. So here it stops and says, okay, this is an unmanaged application or unmanaged device. To be able to get to your business data, you need a second authentication because you want to be sure that you are the person you are claiming to be and that you really have access to this data. So I bring up this scan video or a picture. Now here you go with the device. You go with the device to your screen. You just start the application, the MobileIron application. This is what he's doing now. Starting the application, he's identifying with his biometrics, and then goes with the device to the screen and makes a photo from the barcode scan. You see, he must just make the photo, and then the browser session opens. So with this multi-factor authentication, now he can, on his unmanaged device, he can now bring up the session and open the Salesforce. I have to admit that what we are working on at the moment is, so this is already working, but what is not working at the moment is that we have a kind of our own browser session running that, so that afterwards, after the session, all the data, everything, all the cookies, etc., is deleted. This is what we're currently working on. This is to be released in the next quarter. But I think, well, what we have already is pretty neat and pretty good.